All right, guys, I'm sure by now you've heard about this rumored upcoming fight between Paddy the Baddy Pimblett and Iron Michael Chandler. What an explosive piece of news coming out because although this fight isn't officially announced yet, I think this is the perfect next step up in competition for Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. You know, someone who is undefeated in the UFC, very controversially. You know, he had that split decision win over Jared Gordon, which, you know, reflecting, I think he got very lucky with that one. There was a very close fight, and I think it was pretty clear to see 2 rounds there for Gordon. Nonetheless, like I said, Paddy the Baddy is undefeated in the UFC, 6-0, coming off his most impressive win to date against his best opponent, in my opinion. You know, Bobby Green, although he is, you know, quite past his prime, I would say, he's fought the best of the best and, you know, has some really good scalps on his record. So, Bobby Green, yes, styles make fights. The grappling was not there, but to dominate and run through Bobby Green like Paddy did in a round was very impressive. And his striking looked a lot more complete, you know, a lot more clean. We'd seen in his earlier UFC fights, very sloppy on the feet and was lucky to not get chinned in the debut for it. I'm sure you guys remember him eating the cleanest left hook you can and somehow survives. You know, regardless, like I said, that striking is developing and getting better. Michael Chandler is an explosive puncher, you know, very dangerous, but the guy's 2-4 now in the UFC and he's sort of found his spot, you know, as more of an entertainer, you know, really, really loves entertaining the crowd. We're never going to miss Michael Chandler fight. With all that being said, and Styles making fights, yes, this is a massive step up in competition for Paddy the Baddy, but stylistically, I think it's a nightmare matchup for Michael Chandler. You know, this fight's probably going to take place over 3 rounds, and I can see Paddy the Baddy riding out 3 rounds on the back easily. Obviously, he has to be careful on the feet. Chandler throws bombs, and he's still very dangerous with the power he has in his hands when he sets his feet. But like I said, Paddy the Baddy is getting more intelligent in there and, you know, really honing down on what works for him in the octagon and finding tactical, smart ways to get the fight to those positions. You know, he made Bobby Green shoot. The leg kicks were beautiful. Created a really weird scramble and sliced through him like a hot knife through butter. Once he found the control on the ground, just beautiful work, triangle armbar, and the way he transitions between the submissions is a thing of beauty. I think Michael Chandler, although he is a great wrestler, don't get me wrong, I think the jiu-jitsu here, it's not even a question. And we just saw what Charles Oliveira was able to do to Michael Chandler in terms of, you know, taking the back and finding control there. Paddy the Baddy, a lot more green, obviously, than Charles Oliveira. But, you know, you can see a similar path to victory for Paddy the Baddy, finding the back control and stealing minutes, stealing rounds, and ultimately the fight. Regardless of all that being said, it's a dangerous fight for Paddy the Baddy. But in terms of him moving up the rankings, you know, obviously he needed to fight someone high ranked and a bit more dangerous now. I think Michael Chandler's the perfect fight because he's high ranked, you know, has a lot of fans, heaps of steam behind him based off, you know, just coming off a really exciting fight. And Chandler's just been in the news over the last year and a half with all the McGregor stuff. Like, he's a pretty prominent figure. For Paddy the Baddy to find him up the rankings in stylistically pretty winnable fight. If you compare, you know, all of the other fighters like Jalen Turner versus Paddy the Baddy, that's a way tougher fight for Paddy. And Jalen's ranked lower than Chandler. So, you know what I mean? Like, I think if this fight comes to fruition, Paddy the Baddy has found a really, really intelligent way into the top 5, top 10. And what a way to do it against Michael Chandler. If he was able to go out there and submit Michael Chandler, which is very hard to do, only Dustin Poirier has ever had any success with that. But Paddy the Baddy, his jiu-jitsu, I think it's some of the most dangerous in this whole division. And I would absolutely love to see how that tests up and matches up, like I said, with Michael Chandler's, explosive takedown defense, real heavy punches, and experience at the top level, both in Bellator and the UFC. Like, the guy has fought nothing but the best fighters in the world over the last 5 years, which really, really matters, regardless of his recent losses and stuff. Michael Chandler, the experience he's gained in those fights is invaluable. And I think that is also a real difference maker going into the fight. Let me know what you guys think about this matchup, because if they're able to throw this on UFC London, with Leon in the main event, in my mind's eye, that card is shaping up really nicely so far. Like I said, the perfect next step up in competition for Paddy, in a really, really intriguing fight, which I think would get a lot of eyes on it, a lot of hype. I know I'm just really excited just by the prospect of the matchup. So like I said, let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate everyone to like, comment, subscribe. It really means a lot to me. Thank you so much, guys, and we will chat soon.